Hi, Glenn McGrew here, and I'd like to talk to you today about Baraboo, Wisconsin, and that really surprising photograph of the boys from the Baraboo High School at their prom. So let's just get right into it, okay? So the media is getting the public whipped up over the last controversy. Baraboo, Wisconsin high school students in a prom photo who are all showing white supremacy and Nazi signs, including people of color. There's a petition that has been signed by over 5,000 people, and is to have these students suspended, because that's what you do when you think somebody's done something wrong. You suspend them without checking out the facts. The community of Baraboo had a meeting condemning the photo and are working to not only demonstrate that Baraboo is not a hateful place, but are also trying to figure out how to deal with any such hate groups there. Thumbs up for Baraboo. In response, my school, Rufus King, which is where I went to for middle school and high school, put out their own statement showing love. And I'm just going to flash it for you here, okay? Hopefully that looked good on your screen, because it looks good on my screen. I love those Rufus King students who are showing their love. So there is an article about that. You can check that out as well. I think it's great that those generals posted that image. For those who don't know, the front row is using one version of the I love you sign. It goes like this. The pinky is I, the index finger and thumb are L, or love, and the index finger and pinky make you. So I love you. And I don't remember if that's American or international sign language. However, I think I need to keep the backstory in perspective, or more specifically, I need to undistort it. Let me explain. First of all, white power and other groups groom disaffected youths. First, apparently there are some, not just in Baraboo, mind you, who are being seduced by the white power movement. It's called grooming. This is also something pedophiles do. And this is nothing new. Young people are easy victims to rhetoric and the tricks of groups that are willing to manipulate them, such as political groups, religions, cults, hate groups, spy organizations, and entrapment by the FBI, especially when their parents are so busy earning a living that they don't have time to give their kids enough love and structure. Now, you can watch a specific video on YouTube, or a series of videos by a guy named Christian, and I'm sorry if I'm going to slaughter the last name here, Picciolini, who used to be in a white power gang or hate group, and he used to sell hate music for that group, and he eventually got out. He eventually realized that people different from him were not bad people, that he had been brainwashed. So you can find that on Facebook. This is a shot of that guy. Okay, so now keep in mind, Christian was groomed when he was still a teenager. Now, let's go to the next thing. Media feeding frenzies. The media loves to stir up a frenzy through sensationalism, okay? But let's be fair, okay? It wasn't just the media. Individuals posted crazy claims online, including that all 60-plus students saluted, that they even got the black kid to salute, and so on. People are race baiting, drumming up better sales, following each other blindly, and so on and so forth. So let's take a look at the photograph itself. Now, first of all, here are my observations. Number one, the photographer stated that he told the seniors to wave to their parents, and the parents are behind the camera. It seems unlikely that a professional photographer would ask the students to salute and also release it to the public, especially in front of a large group of adults, unless they were at a rally. But this was a prom. The photographer stated that there was no intent to be offensive. There is one student who is pictured at the very top right of the picture who was interviewed. And he corroborated that statement, but also said, and how he knew this for sure is not clear to me, that some of the boys did use the salute. He further stated that juniors didn't wave because they're not leaving for college. He also said that one mother was screaming at those boys to stop, but was ignored. So that's number one. Number two, there are several students, approximately 15 according to my count, who are doing nothing except for standing there, maybe with a smile on their face. Number 3, some of the students clearly have their arms bent. You know, you wave like this. Several of the hands are slightly cupped like this instead of straight. And many of them, the thumb is away from the hand, the fingers are splayed, or it's like this, or, you know, some kind of combination of that, which you would often see with natural waving. Some people do a wave like this with a straight hand. Some of them have their hand far too high up for the Sieg Heil salute that we know is from Hitler. So if you look at pictures, and I don't know if I can get far enough away, usually the hand is kind of up to the eye level and the thumb is over here against the hand. So again, the thumb should be together with the hand. It shouldn't be spread away. And so if you take into consideration all of these things, virtually all of the kids that are in that photograph are eliminated as being the troublemakers, I guess you could say. Now, even if there are some that are doing it incorrectly, it still is not even half, I would say. Now, just for those who are unfamiliar with the Nazi salute, I'll just show you a couple of historical pictures. Now, here's the first one of some Hitler Youth. And you can see the way that their arm is forward, slightly elevated, slightly to the right. You can also see that the thumb is against the hand. Okay, now let's get the best example, the author of that salute, Adolf Hitler. And again, you can see pretty much the same thing. I've got these posted in my article as well on Steemit. So if it doesn't show up well in this video, I apologize. You can go to Steemit and check it out there. Okay, so let's move on to number 4. There are at least 2 boys, one in the top right, fourth and back rows in the middle, and are using their left hand. One boy is using his thumb and first 2 fingers like this. Another appears confused as to what to do with his hand. He's got his hand kind of like this, and he's kind of looking confused. It's a little bit difficult to see for sure, but that's what it looks like to me. He's just not sure what he's supposed to be doing. And he's in the front row in the blue suit, fourth from the right. There's one boy who's using both the left and the right hands. He's got them raised up, kind of forward. And he is in the 4th row, second to the right from the notice sign, or the post of it. One boy who is in the front row directly under the left corner of that sign has his hand in front of his thigh, and it's in the OK configuration, kind of like, well, I can't really, kind of like that. But that could also be a marijuana sign. Maybe he's a smoker. Because, I guess that's what they do. Or he could have just been doing it for no particular reason. I mean, you can't jump to conclusions just because some white supremacist did it once upon a time. Number 5. 4 apparently have a raised fist, which could be for white power. That's true. But that also is a sign of triumph. You know, the kind of thing that you do if you're happy about the fact that you're going to be finishing school sometime in the near future and you're just tired of it. I mean, let's face it, American education does not really enthuse a large percentage of the student body. Okay? I hate to say it. It's based on an educational system that was devised like 3 centuries ago and is a factory assembly line concept that isn't really very good for producing excellent citizens. It's great for producing drones, but not excellent students or kids. Number 6, if the camera is high speed, then that explains the apparent lack of motion. High speed exposure combined with bright sunlight would not catch most movement in the picture. And that would certainly be what a professional photographer, judging by the picture that I saw, the photographer, he's an older fella, older than me, he's got lots of white hair, would use a camera like that. I would assume that he's not just getting invited for still life photos. Number 7, of the students who are apparently saluting, it is possible that it is a trick of the eye. We look for patterns automatically. We are very easily fooled by certain kinds of stimuli. So it may be that we're just pattern seeking. It may be a psychological factor. It could be bias within ourselves. So some of the kids may have their hands extended towards the crowd behind the photographer, where their parents are. Several have their bodies twisted in a manner that is inconsistent with the way the Nazis would salute. And the arm, like I said before, the arm is at the wrong angle, the thumb isn't correct, their hands aren't placed correctly, and some of them may have just done that because of they felt that their body was being blocked, or it could also be that there wasn't enough space to do it in a different way. There are lots of different reasons that are unrelated to the white supremacist movements that could be the real reasons for what we're seeing in this photograph. So let's not forget, okay, that about 10% of humans are left-handed. I mean, and I don't know, in Muslim communities it would be 0 because they're forced to not use their hand that way. But the fact is that almost all the boys in the photograph are using their right hands, as I pointed out. So when we look at this photograph, what we're really seeing, and I'm going to show you a large image of it. Hopefully I can get the whole thing on screen. We're really not seeing something that's terribly surprising or shocking. So let me see if I can get that on there for you. There you go. That's also on my article. So, how many of the kids were actually involved in saluting? There is a claim that all the boys were involved. There's a claim that the black boy on the far right, who isn't saluting at all, saluted. And there is a Hispanic boy, at least he looks Hispanic, who it does have his hand raised like a wave. I mean, if you look at the arms, you can see a lot of them have their arm bent at the elbow. So this claim is hyperbolic. I'm sorry, I'm kind of gesturing with my camera hand here. Sorry. So really, go online, find a high resolution copy of the image, and look at it carefully and read some of the information out there and use your brains. I mean, be analytical, be critical instead of just having a knee-jerk reaction. Okay? So based on what I've shared so far, at least half, but really almost all of the students are not potentially saluting. All right? I want to make that clear. So, there's a claim that this is a white supremacist hand sign. Now, I'm not a white supremacist. I've never been a white supremacist. I'm opposed to that sort of thing. But the claim that this is a white supremacist sign just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it's used primarily to mean okay, especially when you're scuba diving. Okay, so if I'm going scuba diving, I have to use this, not this, because if you do this, it means go up to the surface of the water. This means go down deeper, and this means I'm okay. So if I'm scuba diving and I'm not allowed to use this because it's a racist sign, well, forget that. I'm going to use it. So let me put it to you another way. If I start flipping everyone the bird, I'm not going to do that in the video, but if I start using my middle finger at everybody, does that mean that it's an anti-bullying sign because I work for Generations Against Bullying? No, of course it doesn't. So just because one racist used the okay sign, which he may have meant for okay, doesn't make it a white supremacist sign. I'm sure that they would probably choose something a little bit different, like maybe the devil horns. All right, so let's not destroy a perfectly decent sign for some publicity. So in conclusion, shall every photo with people waving, caught at a moment when it looks like some sort of offensive salute, be deemed so? Hypersensitivity is, I think, causing us to see what we are predisposed by our biases to see. I hold them accountable, the media, and those individuals who have deliberately distorted this situation in support of whatever agenda they have. The media should be responsible and neutral instead of routinely trying to stir up trouble. Yellow journalism lives on, as do the internet trolls. If only a handful of people are actually using hate group signs, then this has been very poorly handled indeed. The only good to come out of it are the pictures like the one from Rufus King and the action that the Baraboo community is taking to address this matter. We as a species need to stop allowing ourselves to be led by the nose anytime anything sensitive is brought up. We're far too easily manipulated, far too ready to jump to conclusions, and shockingly weak-minded in many cases. All it took me was don't react as intended. Research, observe analytically, and make logical conclusions via critical thinking. If most people cannot even do that, it is a sad statement about the future of the human species, don't you think? Thank you for listening.